Okay, we're going to go through initial setup and demonstrate the use of my app Unleashed. So as it says here, basically when you leave your home, your phone goes on silent and it gives the user an option to send a preset reply. So first step is it asks them to put in their name and set the home location. Now here it doesn't really matter. During testing, most people would do just while using the app. And then here, a more elaborate description. When you leave 100 meters, which can be changed, but that's the default. As I says, you won't. It'll go on silent. So as it further says, you need to enable 6 permissions, and the flashing obviously button indicates that they do that. These toast notifications explain to the user exactly what they're doing, walk them through the process step by step. First one's notifications. This is why it didn't matter what they did before, because it says in the toast notification down below, says to do all the time, which of course you will. Next one comes up, access phone call logs. This is just so it knows that it's received a call. And then, and also those two do the same thing. And then SMS messages, same thing, so that it knows when it gets a text. So this next one, appear on top. That's just so that it keeps working and functions while the phone's doing whatever else it's doing. And then final one, it stops optimizing battery usage, so it doesn't go into like sleep mode or whatever. Okay, so all permissions granted, and then further, it subsequently has the get unleashed button flash, so it's a little bit redundant, but during testing that seemed to be not super obvious. That's why I have everything flash. Okay, so here we go to the main screen. First, the status, you can toggle it on or off if you want to. Of course, default is on. And then auto reply, you can also disable that if you want to, if you don't want it to do the auto reply, or give you, it's not an automation app. It gives the user an option to do that, but they can undo that. So here in the settings screen, they can change their name that they put in if they want to. The name is just how it signs the text at the end, and you'll see that when it's in use. Activation distance defaults to 100. Recommended 100, 200 meters. That's the size of most homes. That's sufficient for. Maximum's 1,000. Of course, minimum's 10 due to the inherent nature of the GPS capability of phones. If they want to take off any ads for 24 hours, they can click this next button to do that. And then permitted locations. Home obviously is there, and you can update the home location in a single click like that. Very easy. You can also add other permitted locations if you want, such as the provided examples that I gave some people, but they can call it whatever they want. We don't need to right now because I'm still at the home location. And then save settings, we don't need to change anything, but we can just hit cancel it all.
I was so done with getting kicked out of surveys after 10 minutes for $0. Then I switched to Air Perks. The algorithm actually matches you properly.
And they'll, keep the defaults. So now that it's enabled, the app doesn't need to be open to work. Up in the upper left, you'll see there's a new icon to indicate that the Unleashed app is there, and then further drop down if you want to, you can see that it's there. And then, so what we'll do now is move the required minimum, or more than the minimum distance, 100 meters. And once we get to that point, you'll see in the upper right, the phone will go into silent mode. It'll show that it is in silent once it gets that far. I'm going to travel a little bit farther than that, and then we'll demonstrate the functionality. Oh, and what I should do, show on Google Maps that I'm moving, because it's not like anyone viewing the video is going to be able to see that otherwise. Okay, so like I say, I'm going to go a little bit more than is needed. But pretty soon we'll get to, oh yeah, actually right there. It went ahead and went on silent. I just need to get out of traffic so I can get to a safe spot to to demonstrate functionality. Okay. Okay, so we're far enough away that I can show you what it does. Basically what it does is when somebody tries to call or text the user, it will notice that, and then it will give them the option to send an auto reply. And the idea is that the phone doesn't bother you when you leave your house or other permitted locations. So I'll use my Google Voice account for that. And so first I'll do a text. Okay, text is sent. The app then notices it like that and gives them the option to send the auto reply or dismiss. If they dismiss it, there is a backup notification. So we'll send the auto reply. And here's the preset message, and then with the where it has my signature and stuff too. So they can, like I say, edit this. And if they want to, they can edit it right now too. And the app is what I meant before, but they can edit it here too. And it's up to them whether they send it or not. Again, it is not an automation app. So we'll send it. Oops. It's in the way of the recording thing. Okay, so we sent that. And then during testing, it was discovered that people would text again. And then for a couple reasons. Some people just text a lot, like some people would get confused about what's going on or think it was spam or something. And then other people just have the proclivity of just texting a whole bunch. Like they'll text a lot of stuff. So if they do it again right away, it doesn't engage. But on the other hand too, because if it does that, it kind of takes away from the whole purpose of the app, because they might not get the notification or the normal notification that they're getting a text, but if the app keeps popping up, it still keeps bothering the user. So if they do it right away, it doesn't engage. However, it was also discovered that in the case of, say, if it's like an emergency or something, it's a good idea to have the ability. So if they call, so if someone then calls, so we'll do that. What I was doing there is, all right, so just to show again from the Google Voice side, if they send a second text, the app knows that it's the same number that it just got it one from. So, and hope this is clear, it should be. But anyway, so as you can see, the app does not engage on the second immediate subsequent one, but if they are to call, so I'm using so then the app does know, and it gives them the other option again, same option, but they can send the auto reply or dismiss. In this case, I'm just going to dismiss so you can see the functionality of that. And that's basically it. That's how it works. So what I'm going to do now is return to my home location. Let's go back to Google Maps. And then when I get there, or within the permitted 100 meters, it will go off of silent on its own. And of course, all text and call receive functionality is as normal at that point. All right, so we're back at my preset home location. So yeah, it's off silent now, as it should be. And then you can also see too in the notification drop down that it shows it's still active. Like, hopefully you saw that. So it's there, it's still active and everything. But that's what the functionality does. It knows when you've returned home. So so the phone is no longer on silent. And then just to demonstrate, I'm going to use a different number. That's a little bit over the board with the thoroughness of the test, but I'm going to just use a different number so that you can see it's not just the same number that it recognizes. All right, it's dialing now. You should notice pretty soon. There it goes. So it sees the incoming call. I'm going to end this call on the sender side. And you can see all functionality is as normal. No pop-up, just as just the phone is working like it always should. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See if there's anything I forgot. Not really. I can show you the. I might as well show you the customized message. So I might as well show you the customized message here. So this is where they can edit it to whatever they want. Whatever. I'm just going to cancel it, or they can reset it to default. And then also in here, it shows the activity. It shows that we sent one auto reply, and that people who know you're unleashed one. That's the same thing. Yeah, I think that's it. Links to the privacy policy. I guess we'll open that. It's pretty rare that people would do this, but it goes into like exactly what everything does and is in the app, and why things are they are, and why the permissions are needed and everything too. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully that explains everything properly for the purposes of demonstration and approval. Thank you.